Slowing down, but the export race is on. More than 55,000 vehicles were sold in March locally. That's only 9 cars more than the same time last year. The National Association of Automobile Manufacturers, or Naamsa, says there were improvements in the sale of commercial vehicles, but consumer sales declined. It says the outstanding feature for March was the big growth in vehicle exports, which surged by nearly 40% year on year. This is great news for us. The outlook for exports good for the rest of the year as well. Well, to discuss, we're now joined by BMW spokesperson Edward Makwana. Thank you for joining us, Edward.
Thanks for having us.
So Naamsa says the bulk of this improvement came from exports from Mercedes-Benz. Where was BMW?
Well, I think the export market is quite a fluctuating market. We managed to only export about 5,800 units in March, and to date the figure's just over about 14,000 units. So I think even with our competitors, they will tell you that it's a fluctuating market. But with that, still looking positive, as Naamsa rightly says.
Well, they have the new C-Class, and what this raises for me is the question, could BMW be exporting much more? And in 2013, your MD was quite outspoken at the time of the strikes, saying, look, we could have had another model in South Africa. That opportunity is lost. Is there any sense that you're holding back still, or you should have been more aggressive in the past?
Not at all. We're not holding back. Again, I think because of the fact that the market fluctuates at demand as well, it's just really based on demand in the markets that we export to. And in terms of what our former MD had said, I think it's time to really now move forward and be a lot more optimistic. I think what's in the past is in the past, and we really are looking at a variety of ways to continue being a leader in export. For example, if we look at last year, we exported the most numbers actually compared to our competitors. We produced about 68,000 units, and out of that 61,000 or more than 61,000 were exported 3 Series vehicles to the markets that we export outside of South Africa.
Could there be new models? Is the outlook good, like Naamsa said? It also said, I can't find it, but that the exporters are sort of coming into their own at the moment. Do you agree with that?
I'm not sure if I understand your question. Could you?
I'm saying, could you look at exporting new models in future? Naamsa says the outlook for exports from South Africa is very good.
Well, look, at the moment, 3 Series is still our only vehicle that we export to a variety of markets around the world. So almost, 85% of the 3 Series sedan produced at the BMW plant in Roslyn is exported. But again, anything is possible. But at this stage, we are only focusing on producing the 3 Series and exporting it.
Here it is. Naamsa says we're meeting our potential in respect to vehicle exporting. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that? Is the South African environment right now conducive for manufacturers such as BMW?
Certainly, and again, I think we've shown that we remain committed to South Africa in light of the challenges that we've had. We've got a 40-year presence in the market. Really, we are here to stay, so there shouldn't be any worries whatsoever. And again, I think it's not only the export market that we should focus on. I think if you look at the passenger market, for example, we growing in the premium segment in a declining market. So we've got quite a number of models coming through which is why you see that kind of a growth, even from a South African perspective. From
a South African perspective, is this drop in consumer vehicles locally a problem? And will there be more competition now, maybe for corporate fleets, for rentals, things like that? Does the competition heat up there?
Well, I can't speak for the competition. I can only speak for BMW.
Your figures
South
are
Africa.
good.
So as I said, we are growing in a declining market, and we've still got a couple of models coming through. For example, recently we've just launched gone into sustainable mobility with the electromobility vehicles like the BMW i3 and the i8. And in the first month, we've sold about more than 32 vehicles already. So again, I think there is hunger from customers for new segments, for new models, for fresh models, and so forth. And you'll see as well the reason, us and a couple of others are growing is because our models are, I think, the freshest, if I can say, models on the market, whereas a lot of the others, their life cycles are still sort of in an old life cycle.
Well,
really
let's look at electric cars, because 32 doesn't sound like a lot. But we come from a history of sort of being bent on gas-guzzling vehicles. How is the South African market changing? How hungry is it for electric cars?
Well, as I said, we've only just started selling last month in March. So
this is 1 month sales.
So this is 1 month sales, and I think as well we've still got a couple of months to go. So 32, I think, for us is quite a good number, given the fact that electric cars aren't something that customers quickly warm up to, especially in our market. Whereas in international markets, people quickly warm up to them. So I think it's really a gradual increase and a good figure just for starters.
Well, what about the charging capabilities? Things like that were a worry. Where are we right now?
Well, again, we've got a couple of a variety of options. For example, we've got a couple of public charging infrastructures. In fact, we've got 4 BMW i dealers. So those 4 dealers only sell BMW i's exclusively. And as a customer, you can actually go into any of those dealers to charge, whether it's an i3 or an i8 when it needs charging. And we're also working with a couple of stakeholders to obviously grow the charging infrastructure. Now, for example, in big malls, we're looking at, for example, if you're a disabled person, you've got a special parking bay. So we're looking at, i3 or electric car customers having things like that.
Giving you a little parking bay as well to charge your car. Thank you very much. Not worried about those numbers coming down for South Africa, saying the figures are still good. BMW spokesperson Edward Makwana. We have to leave it there. That's